Head coach Joe Schmidt announced the team for the weekend.
The team to play this Saturday against South Africa is as follows. Cian Healy, Rory Best and Tyke Furlong. Ian Henderson, Dev Toner, CJ Stander, Pete O'Mahony and Sean O'Brien. And the backs are Connor Murray, Jonathan Sexton, Jacob Stockdale, Bundy Aki, Robbie Henshaw, Andrew Conway and Rob Carney. And on the bench are Rob Herring, Dave Kilcoyne, John Ryan, James Ryan, Rhys Ruddock, Kieran Marmion, Joey Carberry and Darren Sweetnam.
Joel, how serious is keeper resident for you?
Yeah, he picked it up on Tuesday. And it was a surprise to him and a surprise to us. Obviously, it's a hamstring injury, and I think it's going to make it certainly a struggle for next week and potentially the week after. So he would be in doubt for the series at this point.
How much of a blow is it for him, Joe, given that he's been one of the inform winners? He's absolutely flying for Munster. He must be devastated.
Yeah, disappointed. He was sensational for us in Japan. I thought not only his on-field actions, but the way he led the young players, and that was another role that he had fully embraced in this camp, and so that's a disappointment for us as well. But he's the consummate professional. He's a class player. He's got that rapid acceleration that always makes him a threat, and we'll miss that, but what a fantastic opportunity for Andrew Conway and Darren Sweetnam, two of his Munster teammates, to try to step up and grasp what is a fantastic opportunity.
The name of Bundy Aki is obviously going to get attention. He is named in the team. There's been so much talk about the residency rule. What do you expect him to bring on Saturday?
I think his combination with Robbie has been something that we've noticed in training when he's gone in and out of the various combinations. I think he brings a calmness, actually. He has some really good experience in some pretty high level games. He is very experienced playing against kind of the southern teams, and I know Jared Payne made his debut against the Springbok. It was a similar sort of situation. Jared also had some real experience against the South African sides, and Bundy brings that as well. So that familiarity just probably gives us a little bit more confidence about him knowing what, when and how things are likely to occur.
So you mentioned the younger players. Jacob Stockdale gets the nod. How much has he progressed since you named him in the squad at the start of the summer?
Yeah, he progressed through that tour really well. We were really impressed with Jacob, and he's such a positive young man. He's looking to improve himself all the time, and he's got things to learn. He would acknowledge he's not the finished article, but how do you become that? You become it by having some tough moments and tough games, and I've no doubt there'll be times he'll find himself on Saturday having to make very quick decisions and being accurate, as well as using his size and strength, which we know he brings to the game really well.
Rob Carney at fullback, what do you like about him? What does he bring to the team?
Well, this time last year, I think people were questioning Rob's involvement, and I don't think we win in Chicago without him. I think he had a couple of really pivotal moments in the game, beating Ben Smith to the kickoff, his run to set up CJ Stander before he scored. Those are the sort of attacking threats in the air and on the ground that he brings, but also that experience. We've got two. Andrew Conway, very inexperienced. His debut was in March against England, which is a pretty big game for him to come into for 40 minutes. Again, replacing Keith Earls at that point. So for those guys who are going to be in the back three, I think Rob's going to be really important, helping to navigate them around the pitch.
You've got a nice balance in that back line between Robin and Andrew, who's really come on defensively, as you've mentioned. Jacob, obviously, Robbie and Bundy in the centre, and your half-back there is, don't think we need to see any more. Is that what you were looking for, kind of a balance that they can do a bit of everything?
Yes and no. We were looking for, first of all, form players. We wanted to reward players who had been going well for their provinces, and I think we also wanted to keep some experience. And I think we got a bit of both in the guys like Connor and Johnny and Robbie. And at the same time, Rob Kearney brings that experience, and we know that he can play fresh up fast from the start. So we felt we had that, and then in around that, there's some new faces or recent faces that I think will benefit from that combination. And the forward pack, I think people were talking a lot about who we left out last year, the likes of Sean O'Brien and Pete O'Mahony. And I think we're very much focused on who is in there, who's in the frame right now, and how can we help them develop, and how can we challenge them during the week, because they're certainly going to be challenged enormously on Saturday.
How difficult is it playing your first game as a unit together for such a long time? And we saw it in Chicago last year. It didn't affect you too badly. Is there a difficulty? Is there maybe even an advantage? Maybe you can give us an insight.
It's a bit more complicated than last year, I think, for us. We got away in the summer to South Africa. We had a successful series in that we had a lot of new players in the group, and they really grew during that period. This time we've got to merge two teams together. Robbie was away with the Lions. We had 10 guys out of the group. So we're trying to merge those two groups together effectively, which is a little bit more complicated. So hopefully they'll galvanise themselves over the next 48 hours to build into the game, and we'll see some cohesiveness that will give us a bit of confidence early in the game, and hopefully we can use that as a springboard to get into the game.
Joe, no Jack McGrath, can you talk through the loose guys properly?
Jack didn't train last week. He had a knock in the hip, and it was really around that. Ken has been going very well, and Dave Kilcoyne has been going very well. And as I said earlier, the form was a factor, as it always is, and those two have been going really well. Jack, we know his quality. We know that he'll be back and give us a lot of value. But he's only just back training fully, and only just back taking contact. And one thing you can be assured of when you play South Africa is contact, often and fairly rapid.
Joe, you mentioned there about Jared Payne making his debut a few years ago against South Africa. There seems to be a lot more debate this time about Bundy Aki making his debut. Is all that extra foreign debate just irrelevant to you to try and pick, I suppose, the best available 15 for Saturday?
Yeah, it's never irrelevant. I wouldn't think that it is irrelevant. And I think, there was a piece done today about, the percentage of qualified players that have actually been used. And a few of the guys who weren't born in New Zealand, but the likes of the Jamie Heaslips and the like, who couldn't really be much more Irish, but he was born in Israel. I think sometimes where you're born is less relevant to where you've invested over the last period of time. And I think Bundy has invested incredibly well in the West. They have benefited from his experience, his commitment, and his durability. Bundy has played an immense amount of minutes for Connacht, and he rocks up and he plays week to week to week. And so, I think it's sometimes an unfortunate distraction. I do feel a little bit of sympathy for Bundy himself, because he's just doing what he loves doing and what he's very good at. And so, we hope it doesn't distract him, because I think there's certainly no question in the player's mind, in the group's mind, that they're excited to have him in the group. And we're excited about, I think Stu McCloskey and Chris Farrell in the group as well. That has been a really good battle during the last sort of 3 or 4 trainings.